What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Fire Falcon 97 coming at you with another statue unboxing and review. This is of the limited edition Sinestro. So if you don't know the character's backstory, Sinestro was the Green Lantern of Sector 1417, and he was one of the greatest Green Lanterns in the entire galaxy. That was before he turned into a corrupt douchebag. He's pretty much the Alonzo Harris from Training Day. He ended up becoming a dictator of his homeworld of Kurigar, and things went down from there, and he was banished from the Green Lantern Corps. He ended up going off and starting his own thing with the Sinestro Corps using fear. He was able to harness the power of fear along with the Anti-Monitor. They created the Yellow Lantern Corps. The main quote for the Yellow Lantern Corps is to instill fear is to instill order. So he basically rules by terrorizing the hell out of everybody, and if you don't submit, he ends up wiping you out.
The box design here, the yellow scheme going all the way around, exactly the same on both sides. The only thing from the green variant is the logo sticker that's on the front left side, bottom left hand corner of the box. Pretty simple, pretty lazy if you ask me, but hey, we all know how this ends for Sinestro. He's going to end up in yellow. It's cracked open. I got this at Tate's Comics in Boynton Beach. Not their main store, but the satellite store. So the paper normally is not there. Basic base design. I'll discuss the base a little bit more when I talk about the pros and cons, but you got a nice translucent appearance. Looks like the energy's kind of just exploding out of the power battery there. It's got the single hole for his left foot to key into. Right foot kind of just sits on top of the elevated part of the construct. Body is mostly all one design with the exception of his head and the left forearm. This configuration comes with two swap out arms, one being no construct and the other one being with the Green Lantern logo coming out from within the ring. Good muscle sculpt, glossy green paint, and then the matte part is the black. Logo looks great. Our guy is flat-footed. He's an alien, so who knows? Maybe that's not a disadvantage for him. A little bit of dust there on his shoulder, but overall, good quality paint job. With his constructless hand, there's literally zero definition on the Green Lantern ring. They could have done a little bit better on that. Black fingernails, good design, good sculpt on the bone structure and the veins on the back. He's got these long, bony fingers. Look very sinister, very dynamic. They're kind of all curled up there. Definitely looks like villain hands. I've seen a lot of complaints about how the construct looks. A lot of people think it looks chintzy. I don't really mind it. I couldn't display him with the construct because the way that I have him displayed, he has less than a 1/4 inch clearance from the ceiling. If he were to somehow extend his fingers, he wouldn't be able to extend them fully because there's literally no room for him to go. Very simple assembly. As I said, he keys into the base by his left foot. Not much of a gap between his right foot and the base there, but the character can fly, so, you know, whatever. Portrait magnets in. It's the only part that does magnet in. It's not the strongest magnet in the world, but I have to tilt him in order to get him up on the display area where he is. And the magnet holds strong enough to keep it from falling out. Both of the hands do not magnet in. They just kind of key in on the top there. The one with the construct takes a little bit more finagling. Doesn't quite go in and snap in as smoothly as the one without the construct. That's probably just the one that I got. I'm sure that other ones probably came out a little bit better. I'm just afraid of breaking it. And here's a good pan down shot with the construct. With that construct, he's about 25 inches tall. Looking down, arrogant as hell. Good overall sculpt. I like it. I forgot to cover the portrait. Portrait is actually the best part of this entire statue. Really impressive sculpt on facial structure, the cheeks, those furrowed eyebrows. Really good eye design. He's got the black irises, complete with the supervillain mustache. Weird looking haircut. This guy definitely looks like a douchebag dictator in the making. Very impressive.
And I think the best part is actually the portrait. The portrait is amazing with the sculpt. You get a lot of detail around his face. He's got that long, sinister looking evil guy face, which is pretty impressive. He was portrayed by Mark Strong in the Green Lantern movie, which ended up bombing. That's a separate video for me. We're going to have to go over that and talk about that and see, kind of debate my pros and cons with that one. But for a guy with a gigantic forehead and a really, really corny looking 1950s villain mustache, this guy's actually pretty intimidating, and I like the way they did that. He's got the purplish, pinkish kind of skin tone. They did a great job sculpting the ears. The hair looks amazing. Like I said, with that furrowed brow. Overall, I like it. He's a thin character, very tall. His hand looks like Chandler's hand when he was playing Pac-Man all day. And he's got the claw because his hands are stuck like that. For the life of me, I can't figure out why the Guardians would give a guy named Sinestro a Green Lantern ring. Probably seemed like a good idea at the time. Maybe Sin means something else in other parts of the galaxy. It's got a good presence. The price of this thing that I've seen is kind of varied. This came out at a time in 2015. Statue prices were around the $400, $300 mark. So I believe this retailed for about $425 when it came out. I've seen it range from about $350 to $500 on eBay. I don't know if that's what people are actually paying for it, but those are the prices that I've seen. $350 I think is on the low end of what you'll find, and it kind of goes up from there. I've seen some that are way over, but it hasn't really exploded too much. Sinestro. Yeah, make that guy a superhero. I was watching a video with Jim Lee talking about how you could tell that he's evil because he wears it on the left hand. All the other Green Lanterns wear it on the right hand because they're good. Right is right. So left is evil, apparently. So that's how you know. It's kind of like a beard in Star Trek. If you have that, you're evil. If you wear it on your left hand, you're probably evil. But a lot of lanterns don't even have hands. They have appendages and stuff. There's a planet that's a Green Lantern, so I don't know. He doesn't have hands to wear it on. The cons of this statue. What are the downsides? For one, on the hand that has the construct, he's got a gap in between his forearm there. It's pretty noticeable when you put it up. This one, not so bad. It fits in there nice and seamlessly. But with the construct, you're going to see a noticeable gap between the forearm muscle here and the actual green part of that of his wristband. Secondly, I don't know if you can see it from there. There's an ugly seam going down the boot from the point all the way down to the base of his toe. He's got it on both sides. Clearly, you can see where it was molded. Is it a deal breaker? I don't think so. I still like the statue, but it is very noticeable. I'm not going to damage it by trying to sand it down, but it is noticeable. I guess you could say that maybe it's the seam from his boot, but because this is a light constructed suit, there shouldn't be any seams on it whatsoever. But there's that. Also, a big negative that a lot of people had with this statue is the base. This construct is made of very, very, very rigid material. If you pull on this, you're probably going to snap it. I can see corners of it snapping off. Some parts look a little bit kind of like they weren't really... I don't know. It's translucent, so it looks cool to me. I don't really mind. I don't like a base that overpowers the rest of the statue. This guy should be the showcase. Everything else around it is just kind of whatever to me. But I can see that being a little bit of a topic of debate if you're going to pick this piece up. Now, the rest of this is made of all rigid plastic. This is, or rigid, whatever it is, translucent resin, I would say. This is flimsy as hell. Again, doesn't really bother me. It's not the biggest con. The biggest con for me are these seams and the gap in the construct hand. Other than that, you have to decide whether or not you want to live with that. It's not priced too excessively, I would say. Like I said, I've seen it range on eBay from about $350 to about $500. It's, like I said, limited to $350. I think the fact that WB and DC really don't give a crap about Green Lantern is maybe the reason why it's not as popular and not as many people are looking for it. I personally think he's one of the best villains in the DC universe. DC seems to not care. They've been working on a Green Lantern movie and working on a Green Lantern TV show for HBO Max for God knows how long. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I know they keep saying it's in production, it's in works, they're working on it. That's going to be an angry rant for another video, because as far as I'm concerned, I think this guy deserves a little bit more love than he's getting. Especially with all the diversity. They're trying to go all diverse with all these other things, and they're going to that. Like I said, topic for a different day. So those are my final thoughts on this piece. I definitely recommend picking it up. If you want to see this ugly face talking about statues and nerdy crap all the time, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm going to try to post a video every week doing a few retro statue reviews or anything that comes in, and go from there. I got other plans, but we'll save that for later. In the meantime, have a great day. Thanks for watching.